All right, so most of you are finishing up this first version of this thing. So I want to talk to you guys about the next step in this, which is it relates back to something we talked about earlier in the semester called iterative process. Okay? Iterative process is like iterations. It is a way that people work in studio culture where they create an object and then they look at it and they analyze it and say, how might I want to change this object? So in all of your cases, you guys are going to end up with an object that looks very similar to mine. It has sort of a dynamic shape, but the two ends, the two open ends, seem very blunted. They're very flat. And so what we're going to do next is we're going to draw the floor once again. So I've already traced the floor down in here. All right. All the way around. And so that floor matches this floor. And what I did is both of these points seem like they're too flattened out. There's no pronounced overhangs like we did with this project. And so what I want to do is I want to make them so that they stand out more. So what I did is when I tilted this up this time, I brought that point out substantially. Right? I brought it out easily another 8, maybe 10 feet past where it ended there. And I did the same thing on the other end. So that point comes way out past it. Okay? So what I want to do with this now is cut it out, tape it up, okay? And see what that one looks like compared to this one. Once again, I want you guys to be thinking in terms of a human figure standing inside of this thing. So let's do that real quick. I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. And I saw some of you guys didn't want to cut yours out. You just wanted to crease it. And I need you guys to cut it out completely for this step. The next thing that we'll be doing with these is going to be taking the pattern that we made in Frankenstein version and turning it into a clean version. Okay? So cut all of these pieces out. Did you have a question? Someone raise their hand? I thought someone had raised their hand, but maybe not. All right, so there are my pieces. So I'm going to go back through this process once again of taping up the bottom part and then creating a roof and then comparing this design to that design. Okay? So let me stick these together and okay, and so there is the first one and there is the second one. You can see that it's definitely getting more sort of dynamic in the overhangs, right? So let's take a look at how we would then complete this. So I'm going to put that back in there, and I'm going to tilt this over and put a mark here. One of the other things that I noticed about this one is that the walls are kind of straight up and down, right? One of them in particular. So I'm going to try and angle them out a little bit more, okay? All right, so there is one of the roof pieces. those over, tape them up, and I'll be able to put the last piece up. Then we should be able to compare the two and see if the new version that we've come up with is more interesting than the original one. Frankenstein Model 2. Okay. There's that. And we put that over to there and then bring this piece over like that. And I'll put a mark here. And that forms the last of my triangles that are required. Last piece. Flip it over. Here is the sort of finished version. Take that up, and we can compare the two now visually, one to the other. Okay, so here are the two pieces, and you can see that there's a pretty substantial difference between the two as far as the amount of overhang and the general appearance. The difference. So what I want you guys to do after you finish this one is to create one like that that has a much greater overhang. Okay? All right, go ahead and stop the video.